Welcome to Hollywood Updates Now. The story of Bobby Driscoll is one of Hollywood's most heartbreaking journeys. Once a beloved child star under Walt Disney Productions, Bobby became famous for films like Treasure Island and for voicing Peter Pan. But behind the fame and success was a life filled with struggle, rejection, and loneliness. As he grew older, Hollywood turned its back on him, leading to a tragic downfall that ended far from the spotlight. In this video, we uncover the rise, fall, and tragic end of one of Disney's first child superstars. This is not just the story of a child actor. This is the story of fame at its brightest and its darkest. Early life, the making of a star. Bobby Driscoll was born Robert Cletus Driscoll on March 3, 1937, in Cedar Rapids. He was the only child of Isabel and Cletus Driscoll, a family that lived a fairly modest life. From a young age, Bobby stood out. He had a natural charisma, something that couldn't be taught. Whether it was his expressive eyes, confident speech, or playful energy, he seemed made for the spotlight. His mother quickly recognized this and encouraged him to pursue acting. When Bobby was still very young, the family relocated to Los Angeles, where opportunities in film and television were abundant. It didn't take long before Hollywood noticed him. First steps in Hollywood. Bobby's early career began with small roles in films during the 1940s. Like many child actors, he started with minor appearances, slowly building experience and recognition. But unlike many others, Bobby had something extra, an emotional depth that made audiences connect with him instantly. Directors loved him because he was natural. Producers loved him because audiences believed him. And soon, one studio in particular saw his full potential. Disney Discovery, becoming a child superstar. Bobby's life changed forever when he was discovered by Walt Disney Productions. At the time, Disney was expanding its reach into live-action films and was searching for fresh young talent. Bobby fit perfectly into the wholesome, heartfelt storytelling Disney wanted to create. His breakout role came in Song of the South, 1946, where he played Johnny. The film's mix of live action and animation made it unique, and Bobby's performance became the emotional core of the story. Audiences fell in love with him instantly. He wasn't just acting, he felt real. A string of successes. Following his breakthrough, Bobby quickly became Disney's go-to child actor. He starred in several successful films, including So Dear to My Heart, 1948, The Window, 1949, a darker, more dramatic role that proved his versatility. Treasure Island, 1950, where he played Jim Hawkins, one of literature's most iconic young heroes. Each performance showed a different side of Bobby's talent. He could be innocent and playful one moment, then serious and intense the next. He wasn't just a child actor, he was a true performer. Recognition, a historic achievement. In 1949, Bobby Driscoll received a special Juvenile Academy Award for his outstanding performances. This was no small achievement. At a time when child actors were often overlooked, Bobby stood out as one of the best in the industry, regardless of age. He was officially one of Hollywood's brightest young stars, the voice that never grew up. In 1953, Bobby took on what would become his most iconic role, voicing Peter Pan in Disney's animated classic. Peter Pan was a character that symbolized eternal youth, adventure, and freedom. And Bobby's voice brought that character to life perfectly. Ironically, while Peter Pan never grows up, Bobby had no choice. The turning point. Growing up in Hollywood. As Bobby entered his teenage years, everything began to change. Hollywood has always had a complicated relationship with child actors. While young stars are celebrated for their innocence and charm, growing up often means losing the very qualities that made them famous. For Bobby, this transition was brutal. His appearance changed, his voice matured. And suddenly, the roles stopped coming. Even worse, the studio that once supported him, the Walt Disney Company, began to distance itself. There were reports that Disney executives felt Bobby no longer fit their image. Just like that, the door closed. Rejection and identity crisis. For someone who had spent his entire childhood in the spotlight, losing fame wasn't just a career setback, it was a personal crisis. Who was Bobby Driscoll without acting? Without the cameras, the scripts, the applause? He struggled to find the answer. He attended school but found it difficult to fit in. Other students saw him as different, either envying him or distancing themselves from him. He wasn't just another teenager. He was a former star trying to understand a normal life. The dark descent. By the late 1950s, Bobby's life began to spiral. He became involved with drugs, something that was becoming increasingly common in certain social circles at the time. What started as experimentation soon turned into dependency. Alongside this, he faced legal issues and continued rejection from the film industry. The same Hollywood that once celebrated him now ignored him. And without support, Bobby found himself drifting further away from stability. Life away from Hollywood. In an attempt to start over, Bobby moved to New York City. There, he became involved in the art scene, particularly with a group known as The Factory, associated with avant-garde culture. For a brief time, it seemed like Bobby might reinvent himself. He explored creativity beyond acting. He connected with new people, but the struggles he carried didn't disappear. The tragic end. On March 30th, 1968, Bobby Driscoll died at just 31 years old. The cause was complications related to drug use. But what makes his death especially heartbreaking is what happened next. His body was found in an abandoned building, and no one recognized him. No fame, no headlines, no Hollywood tribute. For over a year, his identity remained unknown. Eventually, he was buried in an unmarked grave. The boy who once starred in Disney films was forgotten. A shocking discovery. It wasn't until later that his mother, searching for him, discovered the truth. The realization was devastating. One of Hollywood's brightest child stars had died alone, unnoticed, and unclaimed. It's a chilling reminder of how quickly fame can fade. Legacy. Remembering Bobby Driscoll. Today, Bobby Driscoll's story continues to resonate. He represents the golden age of Disney, the challenges of child stardom, the darker side of fame. His performances still live on through classic films and the timeless magic of Peter Pan. Every time audiences hear that adventurous, youthful voice, they are hearing Bobby. The bigger picture. Lessons from his life. Bobby Driscoll's life is more than just a tragic story. It's a lesson. It highlights the importance of supporting child actors beyond their early success, understanding the psychological impact of fame, recognizing that behind every star is a human being. His journey reminds us that success at a young age doesn't guarantee happiness later in life. Why his story still matters today. Even decades later, Bobby's story feels relevant. Many child stars today face similar challenges: pressure, identity struggles, and the difficulty of transitioning into adulthood. While the industry has improved in some ways, the risks remain. Bobby Driscoll's life serves as both a warning and a call for change. A star worth remembering. Bobby Driscoll may not have had the ending he deserved, but his impact on cinema is undeniable. He brought joy to millions. He created unforgettable characters, and he became a part of Disney history. Though his life ended in tragedy, his work continues to inspire. Because legends aren't defined by how they leave the world, but by what they leave behind.